Alright, this video is on experimental designs, and I'm going to cover two designs, the completely randomized design, and then I'm also going to show you the same kind of question but in terms of a block design. Now I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's say that I'm teaching a class and I have 20 students that are in that class. And let's say we are going to study for a test, and I'm going to split them up into 4 groups. So each group will work on a different type of problem that we learned in a chapter. And so if I take 20 students and I split them up equally into 4 groups, that means I'm going to have 5 students per group. So I just took 20 divided by 4. Now in a completely randomized design, I would start with all 20 students. I would give them each a label, so I would number them 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, all the way up to 20. And then I would take and split them up into those 4 groups. Maybe I could call them Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. So if I take my calculator, I can actually use this to assign my students into these just random groups, and they will study together. So I'm going to turn on my calculator. If I hit this math key right here, I'm going to go over to the right tab, which is called PRB, probability, and I'm going to use number 5. Now this should show up on your main screen, and I'm going to type in, since I have 20 students, I'm going to type in the first label that I would give, or number 1, and then comma the maximum number that I have, 20. So out of my 20 students, I'm going to pick a random person first, and they are going to be in my group 1. So this group with 5 students is going to be student number 18. If I hit enter again, it will give me another number, 20. Hit enter again, 6. I need 2 more for that group. Oh, 6 was already used, so I'm actually going to skip that. The next number is 3. And then student number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 5 students would make up my first group. Now I'm going to keep going because I haven't assigned every student in my class yet. So for my second group, I would use person 15, person 1, person 9, person 7, person 20 was already used, so I'm going to skip that number and pick again. 1 was already used, 17. So these 5 students would be my group 2. Got to keep going. 13, 5, 20 was already used, 15 already used, 7 used, 5, just use that one, 19, 1 already used, 3 already used, 14, 20, 13 was used, 7 already have that, already have 2, 20, might take a little while, and that's okay. And person number 4. Now if I think about this, I have 20 students in class, there should be only 5 left, and I'm going to automatically place those into my group number 4. So if I take a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so student 8 was not used yet, 9 was, 10 I need, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So my group 4 should be the 5 that are left, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 16. Now maybe just to see how this worked, after the students take their test, I would compare how they did on the test. And that's how you will do a completely randomized design. Let's say though, I want to do a block design. Block designs are just a little bit different. You need to do one step prior to assigning your random numbers into their groups. So in this case, I'll start with my same 20 students, but let's say I'm going to separate them out based on whether or not they are a boy or a girl. So I'm going to give a boy group and a girl group. Now, all the boys will be split up here, girls split up here. Now, after I put them into their separate, groups, boys and girls, now I will randomly assign which group they will go in. Maybe the boys there will be 2 groups and girls there will be 2 groups, versus just taking 20 and randomly assigning them right away. So let's just pretend, to make this a little easier, let's pretend that there's 10 boys and 10 girls. So now what I would do is I would take and split these up. So I'm going to use my calculator again, hit math, go back to your probability tab, and oops, I want number 5, random integers. So from 1 to 10. So I'm going to have 2 groups with 5 boys each in those groups. So the first boy group will have student number 4, 2, 3, 9, 4 was already used, and 6. So this would be group 1 for the boys. Group 2 would be the 5 boys that are left. So that would be the boy that was labeled 1, 5, 7, 8, and 10. Then, maybe just for, for fun, I would say, well, how did the boys do? Compare the groups. This should be compare. Scribble that out. Compare boy grades. So now I have my 2 girl groups. So I'm going to re-enter what I had. There should be 10 girls. And now I'm going to pick 5 of those. So the first girl chosen would be 7. 1. Oh, wow. And 8. 9. And 4. So my next 5 girls will be the girls that haven't gotten picked yet. So girl number 2, 3, 5, 6, and 10. Then I could compare the girl scores. And then after I compare each, separately, then my final step will be to compare all. And that's the difference between just randomly assigning them into a group, there you go, or first assigning them based on, you don't really assign whether they're a boy or girl, so that should kind of make sense. You don't get to decide that. You separate them based on whether or not they're a boy or girl, and then after that, you randomly assign boys separate from randomly assigning girls. And that's it.